Dex Elliott from Brown Rice Productions. You out there, Dex?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How you doing, my brother?
Hey, Dex, welcome.
Yeah, he's a director,
Thank you,
writer,
thank you.
producer. Tell us about yourself, Dex, just real quick, and then we get right into it.
Yeah, like you said, I'm a director, writer, producer, actor, and most importantly, activist. And basically using my art to try to make a difference.
Right, using your heart to make a difference. You're in the studio.
Using my art.
Your art. Yes, yes. We're going to talk about your art because what is it about your art that makes it so different?
What makes me so different? I mean, I just basically, I can just say what inspires my art is the need opposed to the money. A lot of people would have different motivations, but I don't think I would be doing what I was doing right now if it was just for money. Matter of fact, I know I wouldn't be. The reason why I'm so passionate, I told you earlier, I spoke to you guys, I said my passion keeps me up all night. And, when I know that there's young men dying, young men that need mentors and encouragement and leadership, self-esteem, all these things that are lacking in the black community and brown community. And I feel responsible that I have to put out content that's going to make people think and do those things that are needed. And I just feel like, my forefathers died and gave me this freedom, so I feel like for me to do anything less is a shame.
That's awesome, man, because, we met out in Baltimore after the Freddie Gray incident, and you came all the way from California to get the real, and we met on the street. And we were right across the street from CVS, the burned CVS, and we were talking about the mindset of those individuals that we had ran into and the young brothers that was on the street and what they were actually saying. And it goes back to something even Martin Luther King has said. People were calling it a riot, but the reality, it was a response. It was their response to the oppression that they felt in their community. So you said that it's art, and what inspired the art to make a difference. And I want to go ahead and roll something you just put out that I think everybody should see. Let's check it out. Rest in peace.
I had a conversation with a 17-year-old gang member yesterday. I stood there talking to him face to face, desperately trying to convince him that his lifestyle only had two possible endings: death or prison.
What's my name? What, you the feds or something?
Nah, how old are you, man?
17.
But God had a different ending in mind.
Bruh, you don't know me, bruh. Bruh, you rapping to me. You don't know me like that. You don't know where I've been.
I don't have to know you to care about you, man.
He stood there, wide-eyed, listening.
You can do whatever you want to do. You're 17 years old, man. The world's in the palm of your hand. All you have to do is focus, set your mind on whatever it is you want to do, and you can make it happen, man.
But after I finished speaking, he looked at me and said,
Man, I ain't trying to hear that, OG. I got to do what I got to do.
I didn't respond back immediately. I just stood there, zoned out, thinking about all the countless numbers of young men I'd had this exact same conversation with, but to no avail. Surprisingly, he stood there waiting. Suddenly, I snapped out of my temporary spell, and without hesitation, I looked down at him.
I ain't trying to hear that, OG. I gotta do what I gotta do.
Laying lifeless in his casket, laid a rose on his chest and said,
Rest in peace, young man.
And walked away. Too many young men dying. Way too many.
Too many young men dying.
That was amazing.
Yeah, let's see if the ad council will pick up on that one.
Hello.
Yeah,
Right.
too many young men dying. You know, you talked about not being a statistic. And see, we're talking about the Cain legacy. You know, in the Bible, Abel was murdered by his brother. And then it was the blood in the street. The blood called out for justice. And I believe, why don't you talk about how the blood is calling out for us right now when it comes to our young men and young sisters and dying in the street?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good analogy with the Cain and Abel scripture. Because Cain, why did Cain kill his brother? Because Cain was jealous of his brother, and he couldn't handle seeing his brother shine more than he was shining.
Yeah.
So what did he do? He took his brother's life, and then when the Lord asked him, said, "Where's your brother? Where's your brother Abel?" Cain said, "Am I my brother's keeper?"
Yeah, he said, "I don't know."
It's like, am I my brother's keeper? Which is it's very indicative to what's happening now with the callousness and lack of remorse that a lot of our young men have for one another, and the self-hate. And the fact that there's thousands of young men dying every day, and the blood is crying from the grave, but yet we don't focus on it. And I think I say a lot of times, we're trying to fight white supremacy, which is our number one agony, but we collectively, we can't really fight effectively against white supremacy if we're divided and unified. And and the blood is crying out, saying, "Look, focus on this problem first.
Right.
Get this together first, so you guys can effectively then challenge the system to really make a difference." Because right now we're chasing our tail, like Cain, we're wandering aimlessly,
Right.
because we don't have that perspective.
Yeah, he actually carried the body around for a little bit, and he wasn't even sure what to do. And
Right.
his response was, I don't know. And then he said, "Hey, am I my brother's keeper?" And I talk to people all the time, and they say, "I'm not my brother's keeper. I'm not a role model. It's not my responsibility." But
Exactly.
you and we understand that if we don't do something, who's going to do it?
Right.
And we talk about this all the time. When we talk about social justice, it's not just one way, but it is having them understand how to even engage. A young man got shot 16 times, right, Dex? He gets shot all these times. He's running down the street with a knife. All right. And my question was, okay, was he right carrying a knife? No. Right? But now let me ask you another question. Okay, was he an expert at knife throwing? You know what I mean?
Yeah, really.
So because he was a threat in their eyes,
But he wasn't.
he wasn't a threat.
Not at
He
all.
was off his own.
wasn't a
He was off
threat.
mind. His mind was in another place. The young grandmother, 68 years old. They pull her out of the car. She's inebriated a little bit. They ask her to, take the test. She can't pass the test. They say, "Turn around, man. We're gonna put." Now they mace her, turn around, throw her on the ground. She's 68 years old, coming from the not the club, but she was out gambling. You know what I mean?
Casino.
And a casino, and they throw her on the ground.
Big threat there.
Big threat.
Wow.
Grandma, 68. So there has got to be a system out there. But like you said, we have to address our own community and what's going on now first. So tell us about what it is that you do to balance the images, because you're in Hollywood. You decided to put something else out there. What's the meaning of how do you balance the images that you currently sustain when you get these parts out in Hollywood?
I don't think there really is such thing as balancing. I mean, I think you're either all the way in or you're not. I mean, my personal experience, I wasn't always all the way in. I had it in my heart, and I knew that I had a calling on my life to stand up and make a difference. But I compromised on some of my some of the things I put out in the past, some songs I put out that I wouldn't put out today, or some movies I did that I wouldn't do today. But it's when you realize the severity of what's happening and how real it is, like then you realize there's really no time for playing around. There's no time for the word
That's
the
right.
balance that we talk about. Because a lot of times people say balance, and they're talking about mixing poison with the antidote.
Okay,
That's not
good.
balance.
That's
You
good.
know, that's poison. That's poison.
Let's
Because whenever you
talk
put
about it.
poison with the antidote becomes poison. So at the end of the day, I realized that the person that controls the images controls the world. Art influences behavior, and it gives people, it justifies behavior to many people. Kids want to mimic what they see.
Right.
And
Awesome.
for any artist or any person to say that they're not responsible is really just, you're in denial, point blank. And I just feel like to have this power and to not use it to its full ability is really a waste. You know, and I say, you know, to this point in my life, I've made a commitment and dedication to put out images that will only empower, inspire, encourage, and enlighten people of color first and everyone else after that. Because we need heroes, we need role models, we need strong figures to stand up. We need masculine men. We need that image to be portrayed once again.
Awesome.
There's an agenda to destroy us. And if we don't see that we're at war and we think we can just, be part-time revolutionaries, we're in for a rude awakening. Because sooner or later, that problem is going to come to your front doorstep if you don't address it and stand up yourself. So that's where I'm at. It's just a very urgent thing to me. And I feel like that urgency is what I try to convince a lot of brothers to see. And a lot of times I get excuses and a lot of, a lot of lip service. So at the end of the day, I told myself, if you want something done, you got to do it yourself.
Awesome.
And hopefully those people that you've spoken to or try to encourage to come along will then see your example and then follow along.
Well, let's talk about that because, Tracy, go ahead.
I have a quick question because you sound very focused and very passionate about what you're talking about. Can you tell me, did something happen in the childhood? What area did you grow up in that would influence you so passionately about activism?
Yeah, making that change.
I mean, I grew up in Gardena, California, primarily, and then moved to suburb of Valencia after my best friend was I was involved in gangs like a lot of kids, but even when I was involved in gangs, my friends used to call me the Christian Crip because I used to always, that was like the bag they had on me, because I would always, there was only so far I would go. I was in the car when it was a drive-by that took place, but I wouldn't pull the trigger.
Right.
I actually witnessed two brothers being beat to a pulp by a crowd of Crips that came to a Crip party, not knowing where they were, and literally watched them get beat to a pulp. And my best friend said, "Come on, Tuck." They called me Tuck. That was my nickname. He told me to join in, and I remember standing back. Something in me couldn't go there.
Right.
My thing was I was always willing to fight anybody. That was my claim to fame. But at the end of the day, I had a limit. I had a place where I wouldn't go. Long story short. Few years forward, my best friend was murdered. They found him in the back of a trunk of a car. They cut his genitals off. They burnt him with cigarette lighters. I mean, they did him dirty. And he was a very charismatic brother. We had a lot in common. He was 2 years older than me. We shared similar horoscopes. We had a lot of personality traits that were very similar.
Right.
And he was a star that didn't know he was a star.
Okay.
That incident made a big impact on my life.
Right.
But I think from there, just being aware and seeing things around me, just when I would watch shows and hear anything about young black men dying, it always brought me to an emotional state.
Let me step in for that second.
I would tell my mom, "What is this?" And to me, I came to a point where if the things that make you cry, you got to do something about it. You can't just if you're feeling that way about it, you got to do something. And that's just what I felt.
Well, that's good because yesterday I had an opportunity to speak to some young people. Shout out to Ernesto Rodriguez out in the Berry Farms. But these young people, I said, when you watch a show, you need to watch a show 3 different ways, or even more. You could talk about this, Dex, but when you look at this, you have to know what images are being showed to you and then decide what are you going to do with that image once it comes to you. Because we were talking about Empire, and there was a scene in Empire. There was a lot of scenes in Empire, but we talked about how, you want to build this empire, but on the blood of somebody else. And here you showing a person that has been able to shoot, kill, destroy, tear up families, and then be given all these millions of dollars to say, hey, I'm doing a good job in the community. And so we got a lot to do. Dex, another question that came up is you on your webpage, you always you have this one image that says, imagine if there were a lot of little Malcolm X's.
Yes.
A thousand little Malcolm X's running around.
Yeah.
1,000 little Martin Luther Kings running around. Imagine what that would be like.
Talk about that, man, because I think that's important.
I think we even
it's self-explanatory. I mean, we, like you said, we glorify things that are counterproductive to us personally. This is not the way. This is not a spiritual this is not going to be good for your spirit. The choices that that we're seeing projected. And at the end of the day, the people that really cared about us, that died for us, those people are the people we should be mimicking, not the people that are not the images that are being portrayed to the media and these people that they're trying to make heroes to us. It's like this. This generation is a generation that has a sense of entitlement. The baton wasn't properly passed down, so they don't understand what it's like to wait or to go through something. They want everything to be instant. I was listening to Paul Mooney, and he said that I had to wait 40 minutes to get my grits. This generation only has to wait 5. And that's the reality. They have no sense of understanding of the value of waiting and substance. So they don't see the, and they're not conscious because they don't see the benefits of being conscious. And that's partially our fault because we don't reward them. We don't get behind the people that are conscious and give them the same enthusiasm or zeal that we do. We talk about all the negative people, which is giving them publicity indirectly. They're always on our lips, but we don't get behind the people that are really about that life that we say we're looking for. We don't do it, and it's like it's a number one problem that I've experienced in my entire life. And it wasn't for the grace of God, I would have gave up and went. And there's times where I did give up. At times when I got off track, it was because I felt that lack of support, and I was like, you know what? In order to make it, I need to give them what they want. In order to give them what they need. And that was me trying to be balanced. Right. But at the end of the day, now in my life, I realize that it's really about just giving them what they need, whether they want it or not.
Right. And it's almost like you have to spoon feed or you have to force feed, but you definitely have to feed. And then, I like the fact that you didn't say you was going to do, you wasn't going to find no balance, because I have a challenge with that myself. I look at people and saying, why are you trying to find balance? Why don't you just be all in or decide what you want to do? Because you can't tell a young man one thing and then you showing him something else, because he's looking all over Facebook. He's getting all these different images of you and thinking, okay, well, if I want to have this, then I'm going to have to do what you did. And then it sets up a negative opportunity. And so it's so much, man, that we could talk about.
White supremacy has no balance.
Right.
There's no balance in how they're trying to destroy and kill us and then dehumanize us. There's no balance. It's 24/7, 365 days out of the year.
100%
So
on.
for us to now realize and not to confront it in every way, shape, or fashion, and know that we have to be on point. We can't play. Not that we have to walk around like our heads are about to explode. I mean, me personally, I'm a very serious person, so this is my personality. But I have humor. I have a personality, believe it or not. But at the end of the day, there's different ways to skin a cat. But the one thing we can't afford to do is play and pretend that we can mix poison with the antidote. You
Exactly.
cannot
You cannot do
be
it.
a part-time revolutionary.
Exactly.
It doesn't work.
I like that. You're not a part-time revolutionary, because, I have people that respond to me on Facebook and different places, and I'm thinking about, like, okay, what are you really doing behind the scenes? Are you just posting and answering something, or are you really getting up and getting out in the street and trying to do something? And so I really applaud the fact that you're not just about talking about it, but you're about the business. You said be about that life. And I think that's really, really, really important. Well, we're running out of time. So
let me say this one thing, Dwayne. It's like, because these kids look up to these images that they think are perceived to be strong or powerful.
Right.
But the most powerful people that ever walked in this planet, first and foremost, Jesus Christ was the number one.
Right.
Revolutionary. He was a gangster.
Yeah, he was.
I'm telling you, you want to
was.
be a gangster, be a person that stands up against everybody.
Yeah.
The system, everything
The system.
that be antithetical to everything that's oppressive, and
Yes.
to stand up for righteousness.
Right.
Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, all these people, these are true gangsters. And I tell these kids, this is the kind of images I'm trying to portray in my art, to show people the real, because we've been blinded and deceived into believing that the false is the real. We've been hoodwinked. We've been
bamboozled. Hey, listen, man, we got to talk more. Listen, tell us, what was it about the name Brown Rice Production as we come to a close on this session? Why did you come up with that name? We got 2 minutes to talk about that.
Well, brown rice was my brainchild. I was always into health food, and at the time I was eating a lot of brown rice. But then I just thought about it, and I was like, I was looking for a name for my company, and I just came up with a synonym for it. And it was Black, Real, Original, Wise, Nubians, Reversing Ignorance, Commanding Elevation.
Wow.
And I was like,
That's
wow,
amazing.
those words just came to me.
Wait. Say that slower, man.
I'll
You
say it
got
again.
you got 2 minutes to say that. Say that one more time, real slow.
Black,
Yes.
real, original, wise, Nubians, reversing ignorance, commanding elevation. And it also has a dual meaning. My dual meaning for it, because at the end of the day, if you don't have to be black to be my brother. If you're down
Right.
for the cause,
Down
and
for
you
the
have
cause.
if you have knowledge of self and you understand and you're open and admitting to white supremacy and its effects on the world at
Right.
large, you're my brother.
Right.
So the universal meaning of it is be real, original, wise. Be real, original, wise, new, reverse ignorance, command elevation.
Okay.
Right.
That's
You know,
listen,
so
man.
that's inclusive. It's inviting everybody.
I gotta
But
bring you
ultimate
back.
meaning,
I'm gonna have
the
to
original
bring-
meaning is for us.
Listen, hey, Dex Elliott, man. This is Dex Elliott. Y'all go to his website. All his information is up there. Go to Facebook, Dex Elliott, Instagram, Brown Rice Entertainment. YouTube, check out Brown Rice Entertainment. You saw the video. Go check it out again and watch it real slow. And then go out there in the streets and just bring young brothers and sisters out there to see this. Hey, Dex, I gotta go, man. But listen, this is the Chop Chop. This is Dwayne Ross. Hey, I'm having a local event in the DMV area, DC, Maryland, Virginia. Check out the Facebook. We're doing an empowering program. It's called the Yes Summit, Youth Empowerment Success Summit. That's going to be March 12th. Sorry about that. It's coming up right around the corner. March 12th. It's free for all young people. All you got to do is check us out on Facebook, and the registration is up there. Just register so we know how many people are coming. We get the word out, share it. Hey, this is Dex Elliott. This is Dwayne Ross. This is the Chop Chop. We're coming to the end of our time frame. What you guys think?
So I thought it was pretty good, and I want to put something out there to draw the people in. I think we need a hashtag.
Yes, we do.
Okay, and so I'm thinking, I didn't get to check to see if it's available, but how about hashtag I am my brother's keeper?
Hey, we could do it.
Let's check it
Okay,
out.
do
all
it.
right, so if you got some questions, you want to talk to Dex or you want to talk to Dwayne, hashtag I am my brother's keeper. They'll meet you there on social media.
Yeah, 'cause-
Thanks,
Awesome.
Dex.
All right.
Thank you, Dex.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Dad.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye bye. God bless you.
Wow.
All
Thank
right,
you.
God bless you, brother.
Okay.